I'm going to be honest with you. What I'm watching unfold right now is something I genuinely never expected to cover from this region. Panic. Chaos. People sprinting through parking lots at one of the world's busiest international airports. A Shahed drone has struck a luxury hotel on Palm Jumeirah in Dubai. And that is just the beginning of what Iran is unleashing tonight. We are watching the entire Gulf absorb a massive wave of Iranian retaliation in real time. Countries hosting American military bases are being targeted, and Dubai, one of the most important trading ports on the planet, is right in the middle of it. Our correspondent on the ground in Dubai painted a picture that stopped me cold. The Gulf states, Qatar, UAE, Bahrain, these are countries that spent weeks privately lobbying Washington not to take the military route against Iran. They pleaded for diplomacy. They refused to allow their airspace or their bases to be used for any strike on Iranian soil. And none of it made a single difference. Iran is hitting them anyway. What makes this so staggering is that these nations are completely unaccustomed to being on the receiving end of large-scale military strikes. Dubai isn't a battlefield. It's where the world comes to do business, to vacation, to build. And tonight, I'm watching people there try to figure out where to take cover because there are no official bomb shelters. None. They were never built because nobody thought they'd ever be needed. The UAE's own defense ministry confirmed that at least 137 ballistic missiles and more than 200 drones have already been intercepted by their air defense systems. And officials were clear that number will climb. UAE Minister of State for International Cooperation, Reem bint Ibrahim al-Hashemi, addressed the nation, and even she, measured and composed as she was, acknowledged that this is a moment her country had been desperately trying to avoid for months. She stated directly, "The loud sounds people are hearing across the UAE are not explosions, they are interceptions. Where there has been damage, it has primarily been falling debris." She was firm that the UAE operates one of the most advanced missile defense systems in the world, and that every measure is being taken to protect both residents and citizens. But I'll tell you, hearing that while watching smoke rise over Dubai's skyline hits very differently. What struck me is what she didn't say. When pressed on what retaliation might look like, because the UAE has now officially reserved the right to respond, she paused. "This is a fluid and dynamic situation," she said. "We will leave no stone unturned." That is not the language of a government that is simply playing defense. From Doha, our correspondent on the ground described waking up to what sounded like massive, thunderous volleys of missiles launching overhead, the kind of sound you don't forget. Qatar's Interior Ministry confirmed that 65 missiles and 12 drones entered the country's airspace. Of those, 64 missiles and 11 drones were successfully intercepted. One got through. Debris and shrapnel rained down across an industrial zone on the eastern edge of Doha, igniting a fire that civil defense units scrambled to contain. At last count, 16 people injured. No confirmed fatalities yet, but we are still tracking that. And here is what I think matters most right now. The strikes hitting Qatar are not aimed at random targets. They are heading directly toward Al Udeid Air Base, the largest American military installation in the entire Middle East, which under normal circumstances houses roughly 10,000 U.S. troops. I want to be precise here. Over the past 6 weeks, non-essential personnel have been quietly evacuated from that base. The military saw this coming. They prepared. But prepared and safe are two very different things. Doha is essentially shut down as I speak to you. Emergency alert systems have ordered everyone to work from home. Schools are closed. Public events canceled or postponed indefinitely. The streets, which on a normal Sunday would be packed, are almost completely empty. Airspace remains sealed. Britain's defense secretary just went on record calling Iran's actions indiscriminate, striking civilian infrastructure, hotels, and commercial ports across an entire region that explicitly wanted no part of this conflict. And that, to me, is the sentence that defines this moment. These Gulf nations asked to be left out. They tried to stop this. They were ignored, first by Washington and now by Tehran. They are caught between two powers playing an enormous game, absorbing the consequences of decisions they had no real say in. This is not over, not even close, and the next 48 hours will determine whether this stays a regional crisis or becomes something far larger.